They say silence can cut deeper than any words. That night, when my wife decided to mock me, I didn't raise my voice or defend myself. I just listened and remembered it happened over dinner. The candles flickered between us, but the warmth we once shared was long gone. Emily had been drinking with her friends before she came home, and the laughter that usually filled her voice carried a sharp, cruel edge. "You're awfully quiet," she said, swirling her glass of wine. "What's wrong?" Counting every penny again, I looked up slowly. "Just thinking." She smirked. "Thinking? You've been doing that for years. Let's face it, you can't afford to leave. You need me more than I'll ever need you." Her words didn't break me because they weren't true. They hurt because once upon a time, she had believed in me. We had built everything together from nothing. I had taken extra shifts, sold my car, and poured every ounce of energy into starting a small business. But success takes time, and she lost patience. She wanted luxury, vacations, handbags, the life her friends boasted about online. That night, she made sure I knew how far I'd fallen from her version of enough. "You're lucky I'm still here," she added with a smirk. "A woman like me could have anyone." I didn't argue. I finished my meal in silence. Inside, something shifted, not in anger but in clarity. When she went to bed, I sat alone in the dim light, staring at a photo from our wedding day. We looked young, certain that love could conquer everything. But love doesn't survive humiliation. It fades, one cruel laugh at a time. That night, I made a plan, not for revenge, but for peace. I opened our accounts, the same ones I'd set up, the ones she'd turned into her personal playground. I studied every transaction, every hidden purchase, every secret subscription. By morning, I knew exactly where every dollar had gone. When she woke up, I greeted her as always. I kissed her forehead, made her coffee, and told her I'd handle the bills that day. She smiled, unaware that the balance of power was shifting. The first card freeze went unnoticed. When her morning latte purchase was declined, she just texted me. "Bank's glitching again. Fix it." "On it," I replied. By noon, all her cards, credit, debit, store, travel, were locked. It wasn't about the money anymore. It was about reclaiming control, the same control she'd thrown in my face. That evening, she stormed into the house, furious. "David, what's going on? Every one of my cards is blocked. I couldn't even pay for gas." I looked up calmly. "Maybe the bank's just tired of your spending habits." Her eyes narrowed. "Excuse me?" "Or maybe," I said, leaning back, "the man who's been paying for everything finally decided to stop funding his own humiliation." For the first time in years, she had no response. The silence was almost peaceful. I stood, brushed past her, and said, "Dinner's in the fridge. I'm heading out." I drove to a small storage unit I'd been renting for months. Inside were the pieces of my life that still mattered. My father's old tools, my mother's piano sheets, a few paintings I collected over the years. For the first time in a long while, I could breathe. When I got home later, she was pacing. "You can't just cut me off like that. That's financial abuse," she snapped. I laughed quietly. "No, Emily. Financial abuse is spending my hard-earned money to feed your ego. This," I said, gesturing around the house, "is just reality finally catching up." She reached for my phone. "Unfreeze them. Now." "Sure," I said evenly. "As soon as you start packing your things." Her voice cracked. "You're kicking me out?" "I'm giving you freedom," I said softly. "Isn't that what you've always wanted?" For a moment, she just stared, as if seeing me for the first time. The man standing before her wasn't the quiet husband she used to belittle. He was someone new, someone done being small. I walked upstairs and started packing. Not her things, mine. By the end of the night, I'd listed half the furniture online. Sold the car. Even the bracelet I'd once saved months to buy for her. Everything sold quickly. The money went into a new account, one she'd never touch. By morning, the house was almost empty. The marble counter once cluttered with her perfumes was bare. The silence that filled the space wasn't painful. It was freeing. She found me outside, loading boxes into a truck. "Where are you going?" she asked, voice trembling. Somewhere I can finally breathe. I said, "You were right, Emily. I was too broke to leave, but turns out I just needed the right reason." She tried to sound confident. "You think freezing my cards makes you powerful? You'll come crawling back." I smiled. Maybe before, but not anymore. She followed me down the driveway, shouting, "You can't just leave me with nothing." I turned and met her eyes. "I didn't leave you with nothing. You did that yourself every time you laughed at me instead of standing beside me." Her face hardened. "You'll regret this." "Maybe," I said, "but at least I'll regret it in peace." As I drove away, I saw her through the mirror, standing barefoot on the porch, pride crumbling where her confidence used to be. Over the next few days, I stayed in a quiet cabin outside town. The silence there was pure, not lonely, just clean. I started running again, cooking, sleeping without dread. I realized I'd spent years suffocating under someone else's expectations. A week later, she texted, "Can we talk?" I didn't reply. Another message followed, then another. I ignored them all. That night, I opened my old shared email and found something I hadn't seen before. A receipt she'd accidentally sent to herself. A resort booking. 2 guests. 1 room. 3 months before that dinner. I closed the laptop slowly. I didn't feel anger, just relief. She had set me free long before that night. The next morning, I transferred what was left into a new account labeled New Beginnings. Then I stepped outside with my coffee, breathed in the crisp air, and smiled to myself. I had never been too broke to leave. I had just been too loyal to walk away from something that had stopped being love long ago.